Hey everybody, we are back today looking at a starter deck. This is the best ramp deck in the format. This is Learn from the Land. It is ramping up, it is blue-green, ramping up into your bigger threats very early with things like Llanowar Elf, Druid of the Cowl, and then also things like Circuitous Route that goes ahead and gets you basics put it onto the battlefield. So the deck itself ramps out and gets bigger threats onto the battlefield early. Now these big threats I have been critical of in the past. If you can get them out early, obviously they do take over a game, but these are not the 6 mana spells you are normally looking to play in a ramp deck. So something like Rampaging Beloth. This is a 6/6 trample that when landfall happens, when you play the next land, you get a 4/4 green beast token. So if you can play this before you play the land for turn, right? If you have 5 lands plus the Llanowar Elf and you play it first and then immediately play a land and get the 4/4, well now you're getting 10 power and toughness for 6 mana. That's great. If you have 4 lands, a land in hand, and a Llanowar Elf, and you're spending your entire turn to only make this card, and then you're looking to get the value on subsequent turns, that's where it really falls a bit short. So we're going to go ahead and do a full deck tech, look at some of the combos that work, but they don't have quite as much support. One of them coming up with Mischievous Mystic. So let's talk about it. So Llanowar Elf is the first card. This is green, tap, give you another green so that this will ramp you up. It does have Summoning Sickness, so it can't tap the first turn, right? And so you do have to kind of keep in mind when you are playing it. Another 1-drop Spectral Sailor. This is a great card also with the ramp strategy to play late game. If you play it early, it's going to die before you have a chance to draw cards. But if you end up with 8 mana left over, you can activate this ability twice and draw 2 cards in that single turn. So best to save it for later unless you need it as a blocker early on. Mild-Mannered Librarian. This is 1 mana for a 1/1. You can pay 4, and it puts 2+1/+1 counters, and you draw a card. This card draw on Librarian and Spectral Sailor is definitely best used for Mischievous Mystic, which is 2 mana for a 2/1 flyer. When you draw a second card for a turn, any turn, right, you put a 1/1 flying token onto the battlefield. So if you are drawing your regular card for turn, you only need to draw 1 additional card on your turn. If you're trying to activate this on your opponent's turn, you do need to draw 2 cards on your opponent's turn. A little bit harder to do. Another 2-drop. This is a 1/3 defensive creature with the tap ability to make a green mana. Certainly important for the ramp strategies. Looking at 3 mana, you have Exclusion Mage. This is 3 mana 2/2, and when it enters, you can return a target creature your opponent controls to their hand. Note, you can't return one of your creatures if it gets put under some kind of enchantment or anything like that. It's not allowed. It's only your opponent's creatures. This will help slow down aggro decks and get some blockers out of the way if you have trampling creatures that need to be able to get through. Quick Study is 3 mana for instant speed, draw 2 cards. This one does work on your opponent's turn with Mischievous Mystic because it draws the 2 cards together on whatever turn you play this on. So because it's an instant, you can use this on your opponent's turn. This is your lone removal spell in the deck. You have 2 copies. This is a +1/+1, and then it deals damage equal to your creature's power to your opponent's creature. This is not fight. Your opponent's creature doesn't do the damage back. This is just my damage to your creature. Loot is a great card. Again, another ramp payoff. This is 3 mana for a 1/4. You could play an additional land when this comes out, and 4 green to look at the top 6 cards. You may put a creature card equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield, and the rest go on the bottom. Mistborn Hydra. This enters with a +1/+1, and whenever you play a land, you double the number of counters on this creature. Good creature. Doesn't double quite as fast as I've found, because you're usually playing this on 3 after you play a land, and so this is coming out as a 1/1. Usually they have it killed by 4/4, but the trample on this is very important, so this is a good card. Big Fin Bouncer, very similar to Exclusion Mage with a slightly larger body. This is a 3/2, and so you have 3 effects of this from the Exclusion Mage, 2 from the Big Fin Bouncer, and so you can kind of reasonably rely on having some kind of effect like this once per game. Circuitous Route. This is 4 mana. Search for 2 basic lands or gates and put them onto the battlefield tapped. You do have gates in the deck, so you can go ahead and get them so you have less tap lands that are coming in. 4 mana, 4/4 reach. This is just a pretty vanilla creature, but it is big, and it's if you're able to get it out and do something else that turn, because you have extra lands, that is awesome. It does have reach, and there are some flying decks in this format, so you do need the reach quite a bit. Speaking of that reach, you also have Elfsworn Giant. This is 5 mana for a 5/3. When you play a land, you get a 1/1 elf token that enters the battlefield. So you want to play this on 5, then play your land for turn, rather than have 4 lands, play a land, and then play this, if you have that as an option. Very similar, Tatyova does the same thing. You want to play it and then play the land so that you gain a life and draw a card immediately. Obviously, much more emphasis on drawing a card than gaining the life. This is the only life gain in the deck. I'm sorry, there is an option on a 6-drop, but you're not going to be gaining a lot of life. This isn't going to really help against the aggro decks, but it'll give you maybe just a little bit of cushion. Speaking of that other card, this is a 6 mana 4/4 with the option to either put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, or gain 4 life. If you do take the 4 life, though, you are paying a 6 mana for a 4/4 with Vigilance, and that is going to be overcosted. The +2/+2, the 2 +1/+1s may go on a creature that can now attack, or may be able to go on a flyer that can get in there for damage, but usually you'd want to put it on this creature, so you'd have a 6/6 Vigilance. We talked about the Baloth. This is 6 mana for 6/6 trample, and when you play a land, you get a 4/4 beast. And the last card in the deck is the Mythic. This is Primeval Bounty. This is 6 mana whenever you cast this creature spell. Remember, you already paid 6 mana this turn, so these effects don't happen on the turn that you cast this card. But when you cast a creature spell, you get a 3/3 beast. When you cast a non-creature, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on one of your target creatures, and whenever you play a land, you gain 3 life. So, a lot of value if this is on the board for a long time. If your 6-drop is on the board for a long time, you are probably winning that game anyway. We'll see how often the effects of this card are leading to wins or leading to just win more. Taking a look at the lands, you have 5 islands, 10 forests. Obviously, the forests are much more important for the ramp aspect. You have 4 guild gates, which enter tapped, but tap for both. You have 4 of the Thornwood Falls, which gain you a life when they enter, but also enter tapped. And you have 1 Temple of Mystery, which just enters tapped, and you get a Scribe 1. That's the deck. This is how it plays out. You ramp into a big creature, or a big spell at least, and keep it on the board for multiple turns. Eke out the value from there. Little light on the removal spells. If the bounce effects are good for you, this deck ends up doing quite a bit better. If they're not, and you're only relying on these removal spells, you need to make good choices with the felling blows that you do have. We're going to jump into some gameplay right now and see the deck in action. This deck was requested by a few viewers on the last video, and I do like the deck. I do think it has a little bit of a trouble with flyers and with decks closing out games. So let's put the expectations aside and just see what we end up with here. Tough opener, right? You'd want to go Forest into Llanowar so you could play a 3-drop if needed, but both of the 3-drops are Quick Study, and if you go Forest, Llanowar on turn 2, you're only going to have an untapped Forest, so you're not going to be able to play Quick Study anyway. We will keep, but what we do here kind of depends on our opponents. Yeah, now I feel like Llanowar is right. Then turn 2, it would be Guildgate and Druid of the Cowl. Okay, we will not block here, although we will be blocking with Druid. So we want to play Druid first, Guildgate next, and then next turn we'll have blue mana available. It may be Big Fin Bouncer by then. It was, you know, we were playing this for Quick Study, but it might be Big Fin Bouncer to just put one of the aggro cards back in their hand. Assuming they don't have another opt here, otherwise they would play it. Putting one of these back in their hands, it's not amazing, but getting the body onto the battlefield would probably be pretty good right now. Let's go ahead and do that just so that we have some empty mana for next turn. No attacks here. We'll be holding off this aggro start that the opponent has. This deck is not specifically aggro, although Lava Runner makes you think it is. But we will hold off the ground here. If you block with Big Fin Bouncer, he's going to play a spell and have 2 power here, which I think is fine. And we're going to need to run him out of cards anyway. We have enough cards left over. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to need to play him right now so that we can get back in this game. We could play the 1/1 or play the land that taps. We can make a 4/4 next turn and gain 4 life, which would stop this whole aggro problem that we have. The question is, do we want the 1/1 on the battlefield when we do that? Well, we can get him there with, like, there's no way we block with Llanowar Elf, right? So I'm not overly worried here. Okay, he will draw cards. This attack will be for 4. We'll just block there. Okay, so here's where we start taking over. So we could play a giant and get a token right away. His attacks are going to be limited if we do that. Yeah, I like this one. Play the Guildgate since we're not going to do anything with it anyway. No attacks there. Let's just hold off. Okay. Yep, he's going to draw a lot of cards. But his aggro plan is over now. Now, he may have this big plan for instants and sorceries, which are perfectly acceptable, but his aggro plan is over. I think we careful study and see what our 2 cards are. Yeah, I think it's time for Felling Blow. Let's try and choke out the number of cards that are coming. Play a land tapped. Get a token. He's got 4 cards, right? So he's got 4 cards in hand, now 5. Plenty of lands. He's going to be able to do some things. This game is not over by any means, but we have some big ones coming too. Okay. Okay. It's going to keep filling up. He's not going to want to attack here. If he does, we'll double block. Okay, he gets a 5/5. Okay. We'll throw away a token to soak up some damage. These are going to be coming out as 6/6 with Vigilance, so we will be able to block. Any reason for this not to happen? I don't think so. I don't need the 4 life right now. Right? Let's make the biggest creature on the board. We'll make another defensive creature. No attacks. 3 cards in hand. If he keeps drawing cards, yep, this is not going to be easy. So we could make this an 8/8, but I don't think that helps. If he double blocks this way, then he made a good double block. We can draw 1 card first and see what happens. But I think we just attack. Yeah. Just that. Okay. So let's see, how much mana do we have? This is 4, and we have 6 left. I think we have to see the last card here, and it's not going to be particularly helpful for us, so we will go ahead and get another Vigilance threat. If he has a non-creature spell, yeah, we're not going to be able to overcome that. Okay. Yeah, Ovika has to come off the battlefield. We don't have a way to get it off right now. We're at the mercy of our draw. He just drew 3 cards, so I assume he's going to have drawn something that's going to let him... We can't even attack, he just blocks with one of these and one of these. If it's another non-creature spell, we concede here. Okay. We'll clean up some stuff that's on the board, but this is not going to be good. I assume he has some kind of trick. Let's see what that... Oh, we're dead, right? Okay, never mind. I stopped looking at the life total there, so yeah, we were dead with that all-out attack. We were dead with just the flyer attack, so I was not expecting an all-out attack there. We'll play game number 2. Elfsworn Giant, if it could have stayed around, would have probably held off some of the attacking, but not for long enough. Same kind of thing with Quick Study here, but again, same thing with Druid of the Cal. We'll play Llanowar first, then Guildgate and Druid of the Cal next, and then we can play something bigger if we draw it. This is going to be the Flyers deck, so we can... So, if we play Llanowar Elf, we can play this and activate it next turn. I don't hate that plan. Play activate and put the guild gate out. Be ready for the next turn. If they were to play a smaller creature. We do need cards to fuel our hand. We don't have enough power to really do much here. Surprisingly, we have 3 power on the board against no power on the board, and I'm saying we don't have enough, right? Like the first time he puts out a creature, we're gonna be stopped on the power side. So I think do we scry so we see what card we'll draw? Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. See, I do want to draw a quick study. We'll just activate it now. There's no reason we're not threatening that we're going to attack or anything like that. Bunch of quick studies in our hand. He's got a grip full of I assume creatures. I assume this could be like the fog bank. Okay. Okay. It's going to without trample, this vigilance isn't going to get through there. But let's draw 2 cards. We could actually make this right now. Does that do anything? If we get a 6/6 with trample, this just blocks it every turn. Just blocks it every turn. Yeah. We could have a 4/4. I think we just draw some cards here. Okay. We could exclusion mage something eventually. I think we attack here. We're not doing anything else. He blocks the 3/3. We get 3 damage in. We want to have the 6/6 with vigilance and then put this back in his hand and get an attack in. Maybe we do a 4/4 with vigilance and then move something else. Maybe we do it now. And then put it on Druid of the Cowl. Spread the +1/+1 counters around so that we could have multiple things attack. Yeah, I think so. We're not going to attack with just one creature. Next turn, I do expect him to do something here. Play another big creature. It's going to take something. It's a 4/4. Okay. He can attack for 2, but if he does, he's going to take damage. And if he doesn't, he's going to take quite a bit here. So, what do? We could put this in his hand and attack with everything. We can just attack with everything, right? He's going to take at least 3 damage. Or we could play Mystic. We can't do 3 things that are blue. Let's start by attacking with the 2 3-power creatures. He's not going to want to sacrifice the eagle here. I say we get Mystic. And we pass the turn. I guess then we could have... No, we didn't want to attack with the Llanowar Elves anyway. Let's see. If he has a removal spell, he'll want to get rid of the Mystic. Ooh. Mama. That's going to be a tough one. Okay, he gets to look at the top 5. He puts them in 2 piles, 1 face up, 1 face down, and we get to give him which pile we want. This is a skill testing card for sure. And without the skill testing, it is going to be... I don't want to give him Spectral Sailor. I assume that's going to be a good pile, though. Yep. Obviously, that card cannot be bounced, because if you do, you're just making more. This is where we need onboard card draw. We need a Spectral Sailor. We need something to do with all this extra mana that we have. We could put the Eagle back in his hand, but it doesn't do much. It just gives us another body, but we're going to have to chump block once per turn. We'll do it just in case he has... he does have 5 cards, so we'll do it just so that his turn is not as easy as it could be. So if we attack with everything, he blocks the 2/1, and he takes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He takes 10 damage. Is that what we want? No, because he blocks a second thing. Right? Do we put it in his hand? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is this right? No, it's not going to be 10 because of the fog bank. So he blocks there. Wow, okay. Okay, depending on what cards were in that secondary pile, if our opponent played 2 cards that were like 3 drops, he could have gotten out of that if he took like 2 5 drops, right? Where he knows he's not going to play multiple of them in a turn. Then maybe that concede was necessary. But I don't know. I think that was maybe a little bit of an early concede. This deck is not the aggro deck, so that's not a typical way of winning. It may have been more likely to elicit a reaction if I didn't have to tap the 2 Llanowar Elves, and the Llanowar Elves were also coming in for attacks. So this hand I am going to keep for the video. This hand I hate. We're on the play. We don't have anything before 4. I don't like this hand. We are going to have blue and green, but this is a... like, what do we need here? We need lands, but we also need ramp, right? So, like, you don't even know what you're looking for here. If you get a Llanowar Elf, it's just a land that is going to come in a little bit late. My opponent wouldn't know that you would want to kill this Druid of the Cowl, but if that's part of his assessment, it would be pretty bad. We will block, of course. So here we go. Do we play Big Fin Bouncer and just buy us some more time, or do we play Druid of the Cowl? Because we're not going to get anywhere anyway, right? Druid of the Cowl means next turn. Yeah, I think that's right. Druid of the Cowl means next turn if we draw a land, whether it's tapped or untapped, we could play Giant and the land, or Tatyova and the land. I think here we'll play Giant and the land. Although a removal spell you would think would be incoming at some point. He knows we missed a land drop. Yeah. See, I hate... there's no reason to play this turn and just wait. We put Dazzling Angel back in his hands. No, I guess there is. If he doesn't have a removal spell, If he doesn't have a removal spell, he would lose. No, I mean not lose, but he would lose this interaction. What's the chance he doesn't have a removal spell? Well, we're going to find out. Yeah, not very likely. Okay. Here we can Tatiova, get the life, get the card, have it for next turn. We're not going to have reach, so this is not going to happen yet. All of this happens. It's funny, this doesn't even really matter here. The exclusion mage. I don't want to exclusion mage the flyer. That's not going to get us anywhere. I think we play. Double strike is not going to be good. And we play Big Fin Bouncer, get rid of the angel. We can attack because we can block with Big Fin Bouncer. Oh, 100%. Good job to my opponent there. Let's get into game number 4. Now, in that game, we didn't have the reach that was needed. If those were ground creatures, I would talk about kind of the need to play ramp rather than have any kind of defensive speed creature going out. But the truth was we weren't going to be able to block the flyers, which is what I've found you playing this deck in the past also. Without enough card draw on board on the creatures themselves, you just get into this board stall that you can't win. Great card. One of my favorite cards in any format in Foundations Draft. I mean, I love it so much. But nothing here says draw a card, right? So what is it? Like it kind of feels like it doesn't fit this deck at all. We can either play it out as just an attacker, or we could get in for 1. I guess we play it out as an attacker. We can't bounty and play a land if we draw a land. We can make it a 3 power. We can pop this out. He's going to want to draw and discard every turn. And we can do it again next turn. Yep. Like all of this stuff, drawing and discarding, it's just he's going to be able to play them and mill even more. We could play this, make it a 3/3, and put a 1/1 flyer, but not attack at all. We could kill this and be ready for something else next turn. What do we want to do? We do have Exclusion Mage if this is one creature. No, it's not going to be Avatar. Yeah. Yep, makes sense. Do we play the land so we can attack with everybody? Okay. He's got to do 2 things. If he only does 1, but he has this up to gain 3 life, that could be a problem. Well, not a problem, but he's not going to be dead this turn. 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, 7 right now does it if he has no... He's got 1 mana. This could be stab or something. Either way we play this. If he has stab, he stabs the other Exclusion Mage. Yep. We had 2 life. We'll play the Llanowar Elf just so that we can go wide if he only has 1 blocker. I assume he's going to have 2 blockers here. If he has 2 blockers, we will get there. I would like to see him tapped out, because if he has 2 blockers and stab, that could be bad. So 2 blockers and stab, we actually have enough. Yep, and opponent sees that also. Okay. Second game that we we outflanked on the aggro side. Not something that normally happens, but it's certainly in these starter decks you have to take what is presented to you, right? And so if that aggro plan is presented, you do have to take advantage of it, especially with the bounce effects. You just don't have enough pieces of hard removal that you always have to be pushing forward. I think this is a keep, although not a great keep, but a tap land you would play first so that you could Druid of the Cowl on turn 2. Against the aggro deck, it's actually a little better. We do want a Mischievous Mystic and this. We did not get to do it together last turn. 4-2, wow. Okay. Not the kind of card I was hoping for. You can't even double block because they'll get you there. Exclusion Mage will buy some time. Tap land, thankfully this isn't going to be Perforating Artist on turn 3. Hopefully it's something a little small. Okay, Gourmand. Makes sense. Felling Blow is not what we really want. Let's see. We could put that back in the hand. Is that better? Well, he can't attack unless he sacrifices a creature, right? So we played this. We play Exclusion Mage. And we basically do the same thing again, but we do it next turn. I think I wanted to put Service in hand. Okay. Yeah. It makes me want to Felling Blow the Gourmand so that... Oh, no. It will untap anyway, so it doesn't... that part doesn't matter. Okay. Mystic. And I don't have enough for this. Okay, it's just Druid, Mystic. Hopefully it doesn't have a removal spell. At least until next turn. Get this going, but... yeah. Let me know in the chat below, how would you have played that? It's almost definitely clear that he has a removal spell, right? But like, what else was I supposed to do there? Was it really supposed to use the felling blow? I'm not opposed to it, but it just, I don't know. It didn't seem right in the moment. I could put this back in hand and attack with the other one. Draw the card and do this trick here. And I'll attack with the 3/3 and the 2/2 for 5 damage here. He does not want to block any of it. So we're going back to where we have, if we play Felling Blow, Spectral Sailor, we have 3 mana, 1 more untapped land, and we can activate. Alesha is really important on the raid side to keep going. I think we have to do that. Do we have enough? Yeah, we can play the large creature. And where do we want the +1/+1 counter? Does it matter? Not really. We'll do it this way. And we will attack. We're attacking for 8 here. Opponent has to be a little concerned. I'm surprised he's not at least a little concerned. Plays a creature. He can definitely get in with Gourmand anytime he wants. Okay, he can just get in with everybody here. He wants to sacrifice something. I assume it's going to be that Infestation Sage. He does not, so he doesn't draw the card. Okay. This same thing, we are 1 mana short of playing and activating. This is sorcery speed, so this is the only chance to do this. If we get rid of this, what are we attacking with? 3, 3, 3, 1, 1. We're attacking pretty good amount of mana there, right? Shoot this. He's going to want to chump block, which is going to make his Gourmand attacks less. He's going to chump here and here. He's going to take 5. He's going to get a 1/1, so this Spectral Sailor not doing much on attacking. Yeah, secret aggro deck. Best secret aggro deck in the format. Go wide because you just played so many 2 mana 1/3s. Without getting the card, that's strange. This getting killed instantly. I could have held it up for next turn. Yeah. And then we attack with everything. He's not dead there. He blocks, blocks, blocks. He's not dead there, but maybe he just didn't have enough firepower to get through. And let's jump right into another. Let's see how this one plays out. I really would like more on-board activated abilities in this deck. If you are ramping towards lands, you always want to feel like you're doing something with those lands. Even if they are overcosted, Spectral Sailor, 4 mana for draw a card, isn't specifically the price you would like to pay. But on Spectral Sailor, it's amazing because you just have it on a creature that's on the board that you could play at any time. You can make 1, you can make 2, you could do whatever you do once you have that ramp. This is taking a little while to find this, and I don't want to repeat myself again with the ramp deck. The ability to be ahead of your land drops, to play spells that have a higher converted mana cost than your land drops, that ability is covered in this deck. Between Llanowar and Druid of the Cowl, you are almost always ahead of your lands. That said, turning that into strategic advantage in the game, that's where I'm a little hesitant. Previous versions of this ramp deck, this ramp starter deck, have had some things like Bonnie Paul in it to really close out the game. So here you have 2 lands. We scry a Llanowar Elf. If we take the Llanowar Elf, we're another turn away from the lands. Because we have Circuitous Route, that's okay, but not thrilled. We'll play Druid of the Cowl. Next turn, if we have an untapped land, we can go ahead and ramp. But without it, now we're looking at playing something like Llanowar Elf. We can't even play... Oh, no, I guess we can play Llanowar Elf, the Librarian, and we can attack for 1. Our opponent does not have much going on right now, so it's probably not too much of a problem. But next turn, we're locked into Circuitous Route, right? We're not locked into it if if the option doesn't present itself. So now we need an untapped land in order to do it. We don't find it. We can Careful Study, draw 2 cards, and assuming we hit the land, be right back in there. But again, this is the lands deck. This is not the deck that we should be struggling on turn 3 to find a land. We can... This is the land for turn. We can play more lands and bounce next turn. I think we have plenty of life to work with here. So here we're going to go get 2 gates. We're going to try and lower the number of lands that come in tapped. And we have Big Fin Bouncer to kind of make up that tempo. Big card. Okay, we have Bounty. We have the land straight for Bounty. So we could play Bounty and Spectral Sailor. Or we play Big Fin Bouncer. We got 3 lands left. And we can't do anything. Is it Bounty and Spectral Sailor? He's going to attack for 8. But when we play Big Fin Bouncer, we get another one. Yeah, I think so. We have to tap green here so that we can play Sailor. Play a land and gain 3 life. And 4 life, I guess, because of the land itself. We'll pass to them. They assume we... they might assume we have Sailor, but I don't think so. We did tap weird with the Cowl. So they may have that assumption. Blocked there. Okay. Yep. It hits hard for sure. But we're going to Big Fin Bouncer, play the land, and draw the card, right? I guess we should have drawn the card first. Just see, maybe we drew Exclusionary Mage or something like that, and we would have been able to do this same effect for one less mana. We can attack. Okay. I mean, this is definitely playing Alenda back. Now 10-10. With lifelink. Okay. We can make this less by putting the +1/+1 counters here. We get another bunch of creatures. We'll lose a bunch of creatures if he all attacks, but we're locked into that anyway. He has nothing to block flyers. Okay, now he does. So it's going to change the math on all of this stuff. Yep. $10-10 Menace. I assume he's got one trick that's going to do multiple things. But that's fine. I don't mind taking 10 just in case. He does something here that gain instant speed life? Yeah. Okay, kill one. Okay. That's better than I thought. Exclusionary Mage. We can put the panda back in his hand. Draw a card. Okay. We can do both. He's going to attack with this flyer. We're going to have to trade off eventually, right? Maybe it's the panda and the flyer. Do we attack with multiple things? No. Well, we would trade for anything that's on the board right now. We really would. Do we trade with everything? We have 3. We're going to put everything up against this. And we have... No, I guess we can't. Just put 2. Let's play it safe. Yep. If he plays land and the 2 creatures, he's going to be tapped out. If he attacks here, we have the stuff to block. Okay. That was a good turn. One. Make another beast. Draw a card. Draw another card. This is hexproof from instance. We could kill this now. No, we can't because we don't have anything nearly big enough to kill it. Okay? But we could use it to kill Vampire Nighthawk next turn. The only way we have killing this is just double and triple blocking. Okay, that changes the game with the triggers. I wonder if we end up having to kill that. Two mana left up again. Wow. Okay, so our opponent gave up on the value train because we were drawing so many cards. Again, onboard effects like Spectral Sailor. Just really, really good there. Let's play one more. I believe we're at 4 and 2. Let's see what this last game here can bring us in terms of 7 games. Not sure on the count, to be perfectly honest. I lost track. But we'll see. Okay. This looks like this is a hand without the acceleration, right? I think it's fine to keep. I think we will be able to play the tap lands first and Exclusion Mage on turn 3 if it is an aggro deck. We will go ahead and keep that. Let's see the red. Let's see if this is... Yeah, this is going to be the aggro deck. Okay. Okay. We'll start with the Falls. Gain the life. Mystery will help us kind of see what we need by the time that comes up. We could do it now to look for... Like, what would we keep? We would keep Druid of the Cal. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and do it then. Tatiova is good later on. Yeah, let's keep it. This might have been a greedy keep. If he ends up overrunning us way before we get to play 5 drops and 6 drops, then it will be a bad keep, but we'll see. We do just have to play another tap land and pass to him. And Exclusion Mage on a Firebrand, not a huge deal. Best case scenario, he plays like a 3 mana creature that enters without too much of an ability, and we put it back in his hand. Like a vanilla 3/2 or 3/3 or something like that. We just put it back in his hand and then are ready to block. Okay, we can put a token back in his hand, which would make it go away. He can shoot both Firebrands at our mage. But long term, that's not going to get him too far. He'll be 2 for 1-ing himself there. It won't use any mana. So if he has something that has haste or something that gives this guy a boost when he attacks. If he does that, I think he plays it and attacks with everybody, right? If it's all goblins get +1 till end of turn, whatever it is. He just plays it and attacks with everyone. I will block something if that's what he decides to do. Yeah. This gains him... I mean, this loses us 1 life. We Forest and Big Fin Bouncer and get rid of another token. Make him use a pump effect in order to kill Big Fin Bouncer. And again, he just has 1/1s on the board. This is where we need these lands to keep coming, right? 1 land and we play Librarian and draw another card. Yep. Yeah, he has to attack with everyone, and we do have to block here. If he has another one in hand, he will just end up winning, but that is fine. I think we have to play it this way to get the 3/3. Get a land so that next turn we can play Giant and play a land. If he has another Heroic Reinforcements, do we lose? Yeah, he'd be attacking for 10. Okay, this is Krenko Mob Boss. Okay, no way to give this haste means it's going to get Felling Blowed. And actually, he's not going to have any more... not going to have any more goblins. Do we Felling Blow it? Probably, right? Or we Giant and make a token. Not both. We can Felling Blow and Careful Study. Now let's do that. No attacks. We're down to 7, so we don't have a lot of life to play with. Heroic Reinforcements would be the worst card to see. We would be at 1 life. If he has it, he has to play it, so it's not going to be like he's holding it up. Okay. Okay. That is going to be long-term a problem. Elfsworn Giant will deal with it the first time, but after that it will be a problem. Okay. Primeval Bounty gets us the life back from this thing. Or we Tatiova, play a land, or we Elfsworn Giant and play a land. Lot of choices here. Bounty can get us the land, but we can't do anything else. We're just pacing. I like it. Because it's going to build up over time. Tatiova, yeah. Right, so he keeps attacking. Now it's Tatiova, Guildgate, get ahead on life by 1, and draw another card, and play Llanowar Elf. Play the land. Play Druid. Play Llanowar Elf and attack. Okay, lots of beasts on the board. We do not have any breach right now. Okay. Moving it over is not going to do anything. So we are going to go ahead and probably get here. Now Heroic Reinforcements, the best card in their deck, is no longer going to be lethal. We're going to kind of slow roll exactly how much attacking we do, but we're going to have this over in like 3 turns. He's going to move it over after the attack. No, that's what he probably should have done. We were going to play... This is probably going to be game. Okay. Just, we're making all these beast tokens that don't have haste so that we can just attack with all the ones that do. They can't do anything against Tatyova, and honestly can't do anything against Druid of the Cowl either, so this is going to be block and take 10. We have a chump blocker if we really needed to. Obviously we're going to not try to chump block. We'll block with Elfsworn Giant first, and just save Mischievous Mystic. It's just too good of a card when you are drawing cards. If you can't draw cards, then it's just a 2/1 flyer. But no matter what we draw next turn, things will be good for us. Heroic Reinforcements, we just block with the 3/3s, and yeah. Yeah, don't attack now. If you were going to attack... Yeah, oh, okay. Okay. And this just ends everything. We'll get our triggers. We'll end up attacking with everything. And that is going to be lights out. A block there. Block the 5/3. And just too much damage coming across. Yeah, absolutely. So, go wide aggro, blue-green. Not exactly what we were expecting to play, but that is what we were able to do. We're going to take a look at the deck. So, looking over the cards that have overperformed, the cards that have underperformed, obviously, I think Tatyova is a great card if you have enough time. That's really the overall sentiment of this deck. We did not play Mossborn Hydra or Loot in those, I believe it was 7 games. Not enough Spectral Sailor. I would have loved to have seen more of this. If this could have been a 3 or 4 of, that would have been, you know, just even more outstanding. The bounce effects, really good. Mostly to stop aggro, and if we had more sailors, Mischievous Mystic would have just been a little bit better. That being said, Primeval Bounty, if you can play it and still have time, it will eventually take over the game. This is the only effect of this type in the starter decks, of just no matter what you draw next turn, you're getting extra value from whether you're drawing a land, whether you're drawing a creature or a non-creature. It doesn't matter, you're getting extra value. So that's what I have to say about this deck. I believe we went 5-2. Don't quote me on that. It might have been 4-3. But overall, I think it did provide some wins. If you have goals that are blue and green and you're a newer player, feel free to take a look at this deck and play. I do think that this isn't the perfect deck for brand new players. I think you are better off starting with white-blue or white-black. And I think it's a little bit more streamlined, less decision making, and I think you'll be a little bit happier starting off on those decks. But once you have the hang of those decks and you want to start branching out, please feel free to check out this ramp deck. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this deck, and if you like the content on this channel, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, there is a link below in the comment for our Amazon web store. It is of no cost to you. If you buy Magic or any other products through Amazon, we do get a couple of percentages as a thank you to support the channel, but of course, no cost to you. Until next time, have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.